welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Nikki with another Scripture Speaks video. Now, this is another special video, another special interview. I have my sister in Christ, and she is a image consultant. She's been a beauty educator for over 30 years. She has a nonprofit organization called Feel what's that? FTL Inc. Feeling the Look Inc. Inc.org is where you can find her website. She is an educator on mental protection, self love, diversity appreciation, entrepreneurship, women empowerment. Welcome to my platform, Trifina Hunt. How you doing, sister? How you doing? It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. We've been trying to get this together for a while, and we finally did it. And I think this is a beautiful. I think we're gonna have a beautiful conversation today because a lot of things that your nonprofit organization, the five things that you focus on in it, I think it's very important, especially mental protection. Now, when you talk about mental protection, first of all, let's start with that. Like those five things that you're dealing with as far as mental protection, self love, diversity appreciation, entrepreneurship, and women empowerment. Like what made that something you felt had is a part of health and beauty and feeling the look. What does that feeling the look really mean? What does that entail? Break that down for us.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate that. And I think it is a good subject to discuss with our organization. The Feel the Look. Feel the Look Inc. is an organization how we express oneness. You know,
Okay.
it's how we express oneness. And the way our theme is that, when you think of feeling the look, you have to, first, you have to see it, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have to believe it. And then if you believe it, you can achieve it. So, all of these things in these areas of being able to feel it, believe it, achieve it, you have to feel the look. Once you feel it, then you look it, then you act it, then guess what? You are it. The character is who they see, So, to breaking down some of those topics with the entrepreneurship and self love, and women empowerment, mental health protection, and the diversity appreciation. These things are topics that we deal with every day in our lives, and it has a lot to do with our whole self and being able to be all that we can be. So I think that's where what drawed my interest into being able to just work with the community and sharing it in all different areas, in different capacities, because it touches so many different areas in our life.
Okay. So now what I want you to do is we talked before we actually did this interview. We talked last year when we first started even interacting about doing this. And what I found interesting was the story you told me because you've been in magazines, you've done modeling. Like tell that story that we talked about when you decided to pursue your modeling career and what actually happened in that journey.
Okay. Well, I've had a few of them. I can say that when I first started, um, a lot of people would tell me that, hey, what makes you want to be a model when it's, everybody think they can model, but how many people actually turns out being in a magazine or doing these things like this. And so I've always kind of been um, had my mind, whatever I feel like I wanted to do, I just tried it anyway. You know, um, I guess your question is what makes me what put me in that industry? Is that what you said?
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, when I was young, I've always wanted to. When I saw Good Times and things like that, and they were dancing on there, and they were doing different things, I thought, I wonder how they go to school and do all of that because I know we got to go to school. And then I didn't understand the difference when they said star, or you got to be a movie star and that, you know. And then as I grew older, and Overton High School was a school of performing arts, and so I
Mhm.
used to want to go to that school so bad because I just wanted to do. It seemed fun. Seemed like they were having fun on television. They were just having fun. I didn't know about the back end of and the
Mhm.
consequences and the mental things that goes along with being in that. You know what I'm saying? So I loved. I have a lot of energy and I
Mhm.
love having fun. I was the only girl, been an only girl, but I was the only child for like 6 years. And then I was had my brother, and then I was the only grandchild in the family for like 6 years because everything started 6 years later when the other kids started to come. And so fun was just a part of my personality. Everybody had fun, and I just wanted to. I like entertaining. I just liked laughing. I like playing cards. So I like laughter. I like the energy that laughter brings. You know, I
Right.
like the energy that joy brings. I'm not I'm not fond of which no one is fond of being sad and drawing
Mhm.
on to the negative part. I've always seen the cup half full instead of half empty. It's always
Right.
been miserable to me. You know, I
Okay.
don't know if I answered your question because it was
It-
a deep question, lot to cover, but I hope I answered that.
You did.
Okay.
Now, because this is because you are a Christian and you've been in that an industry that requires a lot of you. How did your relationship with Christ shape the way you define health and beauty? Because we have a lot of standards in the culture when it comes to what beauty is, what health is. How did Christ and your relationship with him shape that idea of what health and beauty really is? Truly.
Right. Well, you know, that's how did Christ affect my relationship in health and beauty? I really think that loving yourself is like number one, and you can't really love yourself without loving Christ and having God in your soul, or having or believing in God. And the faith that you have, it even gives you the motivation, that faith when you believe in God. And, when I was young, I knew I believed in God, but I didn't know how much until I did the things that I were doing. And I never had a problem stepping out on faith because
Right.
I've always trusted God. You know what I'm saying? It's always been me and God. Remember, I didn't have my any sisters and brothers until I got older. So my relationship was always with God, and I didn't knew that later that that's what it was because I always had dreams. Like I would have a dream at night before. I remember having a dream that, it's like the kids from the Fat Albert gang came in my room and played with me, and in my sleep, and it was so real. It's like when I see babies laughing in their sleep. I guess you're going somewhere in your mind.
Mm.
It's so vivid. Here I am, 60 years old now, and that dream is so vivid. Those kids came to play with me, and they went back into the TV screen. It's so funny. And then after I woke up, I was just happy. And so in my, I think beauty, I know that beauty is how you feel. Beauty is not really um, how someone else kind of makes you feel. It's not about how someone else makes you feel. Beauty is how you feel inside of yourself and how you can make someone else feel. That's beauty because it's
Mm.
feeling inside of you when you are making someone else feel good. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? That's beautiful to see a child go from crying to smiling, or an adult go from thinking there's no hope to looking at, shaking their head, wiping their eyes, and saying, there is hope. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That maybe there is another way to look at it. You know what I'm saying? And all of those things help shapes your health. If you feel good about yourself and you feel good about, making someone else feel good, it feels good to take care of yourself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's just something about the power of the power of and the energy that God gives you when you accept yourself for who you are. And you can never walk in someone else's shoes and walk their journey. That's the biggest disappointment you can have. You know what I'm saying? So I find walking in my own journey, regardless of what people see, and trusting God, it has never let me down. Even when it didn't go my way, something still seemed to make me smile on the other side, brought something else. Maybe, I started out wanting to be a flight attendant. I thought because people
Mm-hmm.
said you're tall, you should be a flight attendant. Then I got into modeling. I didn't know that I was going to get into modeling. I thought about the flight attendant. Okay, so maybe I didn't become the flight attendant at the time. I ended up becoming a model. Then I remember modeling, and later I became a flight attendant. It's not in our time that things happen, but it's in our vision that we believe and achieve what God wants us to have for us. And it's just such a beautiful feeling when you can walk in your own journey and smile and
Mm.
make others smile, making others smile and feel good. It does something to you. It's an uplifting for yourself.
Mm.
It's kind of like when people, I don't know how people walk around making other people sad because it's got to make you feel bad. You can't feel good.
Right.
I'm saying you might think you feel good in the moment because, okay, you tripped. You put your foot out and you made them trip. They lost their tooth. It was giving. Well, when you go to sleep at night, you're going to think about it. You know what I'm saying? So you probably can't get as good of a rest as somebody who caught them at the end of the stairways when they fell and didn't and said, "Man, I'm glad I caught them so they didn't fall." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That person that catches them makes them feel better. They feel good at night when they go to bed. Man, I sure glad Miss So and So didn't fall and cut herself. You know what I'm saying? So that's the connection that I have that has kept me, understanding that health and beauty is God because God is love.
Mm.
He is love. You know what I'm saying? And with Him being love, love is joy, love is peace, love is happiness. I'm not saying that I'm happy every day.
R-
I'm not saying that I have joy. I can say that I have joy every day. I really can. I'm not happy every day, but I
Right.
find joy in being here to get it right again. Or
Mm.
I find joy in knowing that when I sat down, I might have didn't get this. Maybe I ate though, but this meal feels good. Some part of my day is going to be joyful somewhere in there. And so it's just good to grab a hold to anything positive that's happening in your life, and because it's enough negative going on anyway, you don't even have to look for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
really is.
And it just feels good to make people feel good. That's how I got into the beauty industry, and the more I got into that, and the more people feel good about it. Oh, I'd love to get somebody who's never had a makeover done before, or has never got their eyebrows done before, and they look at me like, wow, what an enhancement, what difference it
Mm.
made. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it affects me spiritually. It's just the grace and the good. feeling from God. It makes me feel good to take care of myself health wise and to make other people feel good. It's a beautiful feeling. It all comes together in health and beauty.
Now you said something that's really interesting, and I want you. We didn't talk about this before we came on, but since you said it, and it was very interesting that you said that, and it was a beautiful take. You're not always happy, but
Right.
you always have joy. Explain that, because I don't think people get that, because they think when people, I think we conflate joy and happiness a lot.
Yeah.
I like explain that you were able to say, I'm not always happy, but I always got joy.
Right. I think happiness is a feeling and joy is an energy.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have happiness, it can be for a moment. It can be for a moment.
Right.
But
Right.
joy is what you feel inside, regardless to whether you're happy. You see,
Mm-hmm.
it's, people that sick in the hospital, they're not happy that they're sick, but they have joy that they see mom, that they see dad, that
Mm-hmm.
people are there loving on them. It's a feeling of energy inside of you that you get regardless to whether you're happy or not. You have to
Mm-hmm.
not overlook that, because if you don't, you'll be stuck in that feeling and not enjoying the energy that God's
Mm.
because you only have, we only we that time is out. Is when our time is up. Is up. So now what you can't do anything with that energy. That's energy is your joy. Your joy is your energy.
Now,
You know.
cause I like that. I mean, I like that you said that, because I think we look more for happiness than we do joy, and I
Yeah.
think this is good for faith and foundation in health and beauty. Now, when did you when did you realize it was your calling into health and beauty and coaching, not just wellness in general? Do you think, did you ever, do you even now feel like it's your calling, or you just ended up doing it and you became passionate about it and you start to enjoy it? Or do you now realize that it was actually your calling, and not just wellness in general, but actually, like you said, wanting to see a smile on somebody's face when you give them a beauty enhancement?
Right. Well, that's it. When like I've told you probably when we were, before on camera, that I used to do people makeup, my girlfriends makeup at school, do their hair, and even from a young girl, doing it for other people, I saw the joy that it brought to them. Um, you know, um, Being that it brings that joy to them, it makes you. It does something again to you. It makes you feel so over a period of time of bringing happiness and bringing joy and making people feel good and just seeing the reactions, how people feel when they are unhappy versus uh, a conversation or a word you can use or something you could say to them that could make them feel better. You know what I'm saying? That goes to your health. When you don't
Mm-hmm.
feel good, you don't want to take your medicine. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go for a walk. You know what I'm saying? And your atmosphere and your energy around you plays a good part in that. So if you are around positive people, um, it helps a lot. And if you are around negative people, it goes back to your mindset. You have to find peace in yourself. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to find a place, go in a place in your own settings, in your own mind. If you can't get outside, find your own little corner. Close your eyes, get off to other things, and close your eyes and find your beach in your eyes, in your mind. Find your dream. Look for your dream and be happy in your world. You know what I'm saying? So that plays a lot on your health and beauty. So once I began to know and see how it made people feel better, not just look better, I felt like it's important for me to share that with more than just my clients, try to reach more people in the world, especially when I see a lot of mental health situations in I work closely with people in this mental health industry to um, with people, and I see even the children at schools, and people think mental health is quote crazy, and it's not.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everybody has mental health issues.
R-
Mental health is
Yeah.
just what it says. Mental health. You have
Yes.
physical health, and you have mental health.
Yeah.
You can be down physically, unhealthy, legs don't work, bones cracking, headaches, but you can be down mentally. And that's what a mental health is. You can have be in a state of depression. So your health is not healthy. Your mental health is not healthy. You can be so hyped and have anxiety so high, moving around, doing so much to where you can cause yourself a stroke or
Mhm.
a heart attack. But you're thinking you're excited and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing everything, but that's a mental health issue. You have to get some balance there because you have to
Mm.
take care of yourself along with these other things that you're involved in. So when you have to have balance in your mental health in order to be healthy mentally. So uh, I just think that the world has a stigma on this word mental health, and they don't
Mhm.
understand that mental health is is health. It's if health is something that's okay when you go to the doctor, then it's health is okay when you ain't at the doctor. You still got a health issue that you have to take care of. It's just mental. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you got a lot of kids around you and you messed up. You got 10 children. All the daddies, one daddy dead, one daddy this, one daddy that, or two daddies. Maybe you got more than one daddy, or maybe you got one daddy of all of them. And he used to take care of all of y'all, and now he passed away. So the mental,
Mhm.
you have to be able to be mentally healthy to even for the kids to be mentally healthy.
Right.
So, it's a mental health is a state of mindset, not necessarily just what you're looking like in the mirror. And now, what you're looking like in the mirror can enhance or affect your mental health. It can. Because if you don't like what you see in the mirror, it will affect you mentally. You know what I'm saying? And if you love what you see in the mirror, it can affect you mentally.
Mhm.
So it's a mindset and it's a choice,
Right.
that we have, and we have to make choices. We can't just linger. We have to make choices.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And walk in our journey, and we have to have faith. And if you're not comfortable, and it's okay to change because people, it's not always you're not always going to want to be a teacher.
Right.
You were a teacher 15 years, and it's okay that you now want to be work as a teller, or you want to, do something different. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's okay to change as long as you're mentally healthy with that and physically can handle that. Then let God lead you. That's the
Right.
We have to get out of our own way and follow God. Let God lead us, and that's what gives us that comfort. It helps us to be comfortable with God. God helps us to be comfortable in our walk.
You said a lot of interesting things in what you just said, and I think the biggest thing that you said when you started off is we all have mental health issues. Some of us, because me and my auntie have talked about that. Some of us know how to function in it better, and I like that you said it's not. It doesn't mean that you are crazy or something is wrong with you. You just have an area that God needs to work with you on just a little bit more than others. And don't be afraid to understand that there's a weakness in that particular area. And if it happens to be like you said, I don't like what I see in the mirror, then that's that weakness that it shouldn't tear you down, but God can help you deal with that. Like, what is it you don't like? And is it something you could do to what you said? Change. Because that's what change is. If you want to see change, you gotta be the change. You can't just expect everything to change, the circumstances, people, whatever. You have to be the change. So I like a lot of what you said in there, but
That's the only thing we
it's
can change is us. We can't change
right.
nothing around us. Just
So, but expound on the everybody has mental health issues. Expound a little bit on that.
you're never the only one with a headache. You're never the only one that's depressed. You're
Mhm.
never the only one that's divorced. You're
Mhm.
never the only one whose wife left them.
Right.
You're not the only one who daddy died.
Right.
It's a lot of people in the grave, a lot of people in the hospitals. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of divorces. It's a lot of single parents. You're
Right.
never the only one.
Mhm.
You're never the only one. So
Right.
uh, it's just that you're the only one have to deal with your problem or your issue. Put it that way, and you have to deal with your issue. You can't. You have to be real with yourself. That's the only
Mhm.
way to fix anything is to be real with ourselves and accept our flaws. If
Right.
we can accept our flaws, we can't fix them because we don't think we have them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, and if you don't have any flaws, then you must be a excuse me you must be Christ Himself because that's the only person that I know that don't have nothing. You
Right.
know,
That's
that's
perfect.
that's perfect out here. You know what I'm saying? So we have to realize we are different and we all have our own fingerprints. Everybody's fingerprint is
Right.
not the same. So when you want to say, well, Joe Blow don't have this when they marriage, or Joe Blow don't have this with their child, then you put your fingerprint down in some clay and put their fingerprint in some clay and see that everybody's different. Deal with your
Mhm.
problems, you
Yep.
know?
Because when you do your fingerprint, your information pop up. You are absolutely right.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about now, like, how do you guard against turning health or appearance into an idol, both personally and with your clients? Like, for yourself, how do you make sure that beauty did not become an idol for you? And how do you make sure it doesn't become an idol for your clients?
Well, first of all, as I said, um, I don't focus as on beauty as just one particular thing. You know what I'm saying? You think that beauty is just what you see in the mirror.
Mhm.
That's how you get idolizing. That's how
Mhm.
you idolize things. Or because I don't always, I put bonnets on my head at night.
Right.
Other people put bonnets on their head at night. So
Right.
I don't go to sleep with lipstick on or with my face made up. And when I wake up in the morning, I go to the door. If the mailman comes, I don't have to hurry up and put makeup on before I do that. It is.
Mhm.
So you have to be able to accept yourself for who you are, and know that everybody is different. And when you talk about beauty, you just have to know that beauty is deeper than skin. You know,
Mhm.
you have to know that beauty is more than that. Beauty is what we eat. Beauty is how we act.
Mhm.
Beauty is how we treat people. Beauty is how we accept people. Beauty is how we treat ourselves. Beauty is, um, in addition, it's an enhancement on the outside. It
Mm.
all begins in the inside. That's where the beauty really lies.
Right.
Because you can be a beautiful flower, and you can walk over there and you see a flower so pretty, and you can touch it and it might fall down because it's not standing on any no it's no roots.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It won't even stand back up. It's been standing there for so long, it just froze like that. It ain't really just
Right.
beautiful. It's just a thing. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
has no life. You know. So when you look at it like that, and then my clients, we don't have conversations to really. I never really had, and I know I'm in the industry where people gossip a lot, but we don't gossip a lot on. Uh, we don't talk about beauty. They like themselves want to look, a certain way, but um, the way I do my clients a lot is I talk up to my clients about who they are. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily what I'm seeing. Okay, your eyebrows are this, but when I'm doing your eyebrows, I might say, "Girl, you sure you have good skin?" You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they might have a kid over there. So, yeah, there's not a lot of good mothers like you out here. You know what I'm saying? Mothers, it's good the way you bring your kids with you and they obey you. I pour out more positive than anything, and it's not always about that enhancement that you're getting. It's about the way you act. It's about the way people around you, how you rub off on other people. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So when I talk to my clients and we talk about, I just don't talk about, oh girl, you so beautiful. You got the name brand this, you got the name brand that. I don't, I don't, I don't focus on that a lot. And if they focus on that, then that's okay. But I even throw that off sometimes. I might say something like, how your mom doing? It sure is good to have your mom around, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? And I just put them into a different mindset of just the flesh because the flesh is gonna fade away.
Mm-hmm.
And what you gonna do then if you don't have any money, you don't
Right.
look good anymore, or not
Right.
good to yourself. But as long as you feel good, right? How do you think 99-year-old ladies and 75-year-old, 80-year-old ladies walking around still smiling, still wearing their coats, and still, saying, "Give me, I don't want them shoes. Give me something that match." You know what I'm saying, or whatever. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Because it's not necessarily from the outside; it's in the inside. It's always
Mm-hmm.
inside. Your beauty
Mm-hmm.
comes from inside, and inside that peace is and then connections. Your energies connect. You have to bring positive. You can't a positive and a positive equals a positive, even in algebra.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
a
Yep.
positive is so powerful. A positive and a negative equals a positive when you add, but a positive and a negative when you subtracting. You got to go with the size of the sign of the number, the sign, the smaller number, whatever the number is.
Right.
Even when you look at it scientifically, positive is always better. Positive is just good energy.
Yeah.
And anything negative, you have to, you have to find a way to dissolve that out of your energy. Yeah.
Yeah. You are saying a lot of great things, especially like when you say changing the subject when people are focused on their flesh, because that's the biggest thing with idolizing. And I think the biggest thing with that is like when you were modeling, was there ever a time where you you were made to feel ashamed of your body type, or how you looked at a certain time? Was it a time, did you always stay in shape where they always wanted you for the photo shoot, for the magazine covers, or something like, and even did you ever see magazine covers that made you feel like, "Oh, why can't I look like that?" Even though you knew what went behind making that person actually look like that. Was there ever a time where you were like, I just don't feel good about, myself as a model anymore because I'm looking at other people's pictures and who's getting the front cover of certain big time magazines?
Well, you asked me several questions right there. But I would say one of them is two different things. Once when I got pregnant, and once when I first started. When I first started modeling, I used to think, statistically back in the day, light skin, long hair was what people really wanted.
Mm.
When I went into modeling, I did not think that I wasn't good enough because it was a lady that groomed me. Man, she really got into my head. And not to tell me that I was beautiful, but it was just the confidence that she gave me,
Mm-hmm.
that stuck into my mind. But I remember doing on an audition, and I was in there with all of the beautiful. It was a lot of beautiful women, and I just couldn't believe it. Then I had this weave in my hair. This when weave first came out. I had weave in my hair, and I had this long hair. and and the other ladies, some of them were just what they were, light skinned. They had long hair. They had all of everything. But they called me back, and I got the job. I couldn't believe I had got the job, and they wanted me to cut all the weave out of my hair, and they wanted me just natural.
Right.
And that was a that was even more motivating. You know what I mean?
Like
Because
an
I'm like,
aha moment. Like, I thought I had to go through all that and look at what happened. Yeah.
right, but it's just different clients, different people wanted
Hmm.
you know. So this was for Black History Month. They wanted somebody
Okay.
that was black, and they
Right.
wanted somebody that was all black. They didn't want people to look confused. You was light skinned, you could be mixed, or whatever the case may be. They didn't tell me
Right.
that, but obviously because I was 100% black, and and so that was something that it was okay. That after that, I kind of knew then it's from what the client is looking for. It's not necessarily what you think is they're looking for, or what they're looking for like that. And then it was another time when I got pregnant for the first time. I didn't think in my mind about modeling
Right.
maternity clothes.
Mm.
Oh, oh my God, I got pregnant. They called me for this big layout, and I did not go for the audition. I just didn't. They wanted it. Matter of fact, they wanted me to do the job. I'd already gotten it, but I wasn't that girl that they thought I was anymore. I had gained weight.
Mm.
So I told them that I was pregnant, and my mindset wasn't to tell them that I'll do the maternity part, you know what I'm saying? I just didn't do the job at all. And so I waited. Then afterwards, I did have another commercial that came up, and it was interesting because I'd had another child, it was my second one, and but when they called me for this, I had to go to Atlanta and stuff, and I was like, wow, I could have brought my baby. This girl looks just like my baby. It was for an adult with a baby. And that baby, if that baby didn't look like my baby, it was amazing. When I mean not look like me, but literally look like the baby that I had. And so I was like,
Dang, she went out. God darn. See if she can come back up. I don't know why she went out.
looks like I went out.
You
Came back.
did, but yeah, you back up. Okay, so you can finish what you
So
were
I
saying
had,
because I didn't go. This is live, guys, so we had a little technical difficulties, but we're back.
it
So
happened.
you can finish what you were
So
saying.
yeah, but I was just saying, so it's interesting that I went and I did this commercial, and I used, and they had a baby there for me, and that baby reminded me and looked so much like the baby I had just had, and so I thought, wow, I could have used my own baby for this one, and I didn't suggest the baby or anything because
Right.
I didn't know about the baby, how to maneuver babyism into that world at the time.
Now I wanna kind of get into something because again, you are a sister in Christ. So at the time that you were doing that, like, were you how what kept you ground? What scriptures kept you grounded as far as doing something that quote unquote we in the Christian community may think that it's something within that industry that can rub you the wrong way, can take you in a bad direction. But what kept you grounded
My
from those things that probably came at you to say, "Ooh, come here, this where the big money at," but you knew there was some uncomfortable things going on that you just didn't want to be a part of.
well, one thing is that my dad did not want me to model.
Okay.
He used to take me to these little strip places around the neighborhood. He would say, "Look at that! You see that? That's got models on it." I said, "But no, Daddy, that ain't what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about some real modeling." So he was frustrated, with that, and but I had a lot of offers about dancing, a lot of offers about, doing some things that, of course, wasn't it. But my dad, it was my dad, and I wasn't strong. I was a Christian, but I wasn't like I am now. when I first
Mm-hmm.
started. So I just it was my dad had a lot to do with it, and I still went to church. So
Right.
being that I was always still involved in church in the church community and involved in being wanted, I desired to have church or have myself in a spiritual setting every Sunday. That was as much as a desire for me as my modeling was, because I felt safe with that. I felt
Mm.
safe if I made sure that God was a part of everything that I did. And so
Okay.
that's something that made me feel safe, and you know, and it's just that, and then as I got older and I started to, and then not even getting older, some of those opportunities that they would offer me, I would look back and think, man, I would say at the time, man, I never want what if I have children and they say, your mama used to be a this or your mama used to do a that, you know what I'm saying? And that was another thing. And then I would see how they could use certain things to pull you down, just like they would use them to pull you up, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so it just made sense that everything Dad said and everything that I was reading was true. You know what I'm saying? And um and God just kept still giving me things. I wasn't, you know, Naomi Campbell or Cindy,
Right.
but I did. I was with the agency with them. You know what I'm saying? So I did go to New York. I went to Milan. I've traveled in Paris. I've modeled around. I've done commercials and everything. But I just when it started getting deep
Mm.
and it started feeling uncomfortable for me, and I felt like, okay, now they're trying to say I look like Whitney. They want me to be this. They want that. And Whitney wasn't bad at the time, but it was. I mean, the opportunity was coming so strong. I got
Mm-hmm.
scared. I got a little scared. I got scared in my walk. Conscious. My conscience had a shake. You know what I'm saying? So I asked God to slow things down for me. So let me kind of, I asked God to slow it down for me. So, because I mean, it was just opportunities was everywhere. You know what I mean? And so I just kind of, I wasn't as comfortable moving that fast. I don't like a fast talker trying to convince me to buy nothing. And when I get to moving too fast, my brother always told me, girl, you scary, because I've met a lot of stars, been around a lot of them. And, and every time I go somewhere, if it's in stars somewhere, they always think that I'm supposed to be, oh, she's supposed to be over here. I mean, some kind of way I always get in there. And I don't be part of it, but they be thinking I am. But I don't know, it's something about that world that I wasn't as comfortable. I liked where I was. I didn't know if I was liking where I was going. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So I wasn't as comfortable with just being around, getting deeper and deeper and deeper. You know what I'm saying? Then I had my daughters. By the time I had my daughters, I started to getting more comfortable being a mom. I didn't want my daughters to call my mom mama. I wanted them to call me Trifine. I wanted them
Yeah.
to call me mama.
Right.
And so that was something else. And I just didn't want to be looked on like my dad. My dad meant a lot to me, and and I knew one day I wanted to be married, and I didn't want, if my dad looked at it a certain way, I thought maybe men look at it a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I stayed into the word, and I wasn't in it every single day, but it was in my spirit every single day.
Right. Right.
It
Right.
was in my heart, and it was in the choices and the things that I made. So things that were not comfortable for me, I just kind of bagged away. And then I started, when I came back to Memphis, I said, well, you know what? I'll just bring Hollywood to Memphis and do it in my own way. And that's the way I kind of bring
Cause
it.
that you said a lot. You said a lot of great things in there, especially the thing about slow asking God to slow things down when opportunities are coming your way. And I think that's good for a lot of young women to hear. What would you say to young women if they're not feeling the uncomfortable? the uncomfortableness of things coming fast, because we live in a fast-paced society. So with you being young and looking at it like, oh, this is coming too fast, but to let them know that you were still successful. Like you said, you weren't Sidney Lauper or Naomi Campbell, but you worked in that same industry. And if you really wanted to, you could have been on that level. But with you knowing this is coming too fast, I don't like it. But I'm good where I'm at. Like being able to be good where you're at, and that's successful, but not saying, oh, I need to be on their level. Why I'm just as good as her.
Yeah.
What do you say to
Because
young people or your clients that may be like
why didn't
want
you
to
do
go
this?
into a certain industry?
Yeah. Well, I just say that, when things coming too fast to you, you can only handle stuff at a certain speed. And, just be real with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just be real with yourself. There's a speed limit to even how fast we drive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and it takes time for even a plant to develop. So just know, be real with yourself. They can sell you a dream, but is it a dream or is it real? You know what I'm saying? Can it really happen like that? Analyze it. I know people say, well, girl, why you analyzing it? You can be missing this and that. Yeah, I can be missing a lot of stuff that I need to miss too. You know what I'm saying?
You're
So,
absolutely right.
so you have to be real with yourself, and you have to
Hmm.
be able to just be honest and be in reality. I know,
Right.
even though we have our own reality, it has to connect. One plus one has to equal two.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't make one plus one equals four. So you need to just be in the reality of life when you're making these choices, and just keep God in everything that you do. And then if you're keeping God in everything that you do, you can best believe that whatever you miss, maybe it was a booger bear down the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're absolutely
Wasn't
right.
supposed to go that route. You know what I'm saying? Anything that happened is already written. It ain't, you can't say, well, I know I was supposed to do this, but I ended up doing that. No, you ended up doing just what you were supposed to do.
Supposed to be doing.
It's
Yep.
already written. And once we ask God to help us to accept His will, ask God to accept you to walk in His will and help you to desire His will. Then
Hmm.
you have less disappointments in life. Then you
Right.
feel like you've succeeded because you have succeeded.
Right.
You succeeded to what God has for you, not
Right.
what you have for you. You see what I'm saying? And you
Yep.
have to just walk in your journey and accept His will. You know what I'm saying?
You
And then you're more happy.
I think that you saying a lot of great things, because that it's a lot of people that misinterpret success. Like for you, like you said, you also said something about when you came back to Memphis. You said, I will bring Hollywood to Memphis. Now, how did you do you think you do you think you've done anything towards being able to do that, or what did that mean to you? Like, what does that really mean? You were gonna bring Hollywood to Memphis?
Producing my own fashion shows, fi-
Okay.
big, making people dreams come true here. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Helping people to, um, if they can't walk in New York, if they can't walk in Paris, they can walk on our runway. You know,
Mm.
bring the live, the music that they're walking there, the themes. Um, just bring it here.
Mm.
Bring the stage setting to Memphis and
Right.
give people opportunity to walk the runway. A runway is a runway. New York is just a spot. Now, thank God, they're not even walking on runways; they're walking on floors. And so you need not to spend as much money. But anyway, so it's just the ideal that you bring in here, bringing opportunities for people here, help the designers here. That's why it's important to me, as I work in our nonprofit organization with this. mental health protection, diversity appreciation, entrepreneurship, women empowerment, and self love. When we do those shows and when we put together different events, it gives young people an opportunity to be an entrepreneur, to set up their own settings and to show to bring their designs, and you are your own creator with that. It helps you with your motivation, your mental health, because it's showing you that you can do something. It helps you with self love because now you love yourself enough to step out into your own faith. You know what I'm saying? The women empowerment, I have to say this part before we go, but women empowerment um, is that, we're empowered in a lot of ways and we empower our men. A lot of men,
Mm,
a lot of men ask me, well, what about the men empowerment? What you need to be letting people know is that, women is our biggest, one of our problems. Well, women is not a problem, but I think that when we understand that we're the prize, and when we understand that we're the prize, we also understand that we have to respect and um, with our men, we have to understand where they come from, where um, what holds them back, how to build them spiritually first. And you don't have to worry about them going to do this and this and that because everybody's human. But when you're building a friendship and building a friendship within your man and in your relationships, then you'll build him. You will build your man. You won't knock him down. You know,
right.
and that was how some of them have been knocked down so much they don't know how to accept. I know women say that. Well, they don't even know how to accept it. They dog you out when you're trying to build them up and this and that. Well, let the Lord lead you. You don't pour a full glass of water in the cup at one time. You know what I'm saying? You handle the spirit by the spirit. You know what I'm saying? With the spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You water it. Some plants are not to be watered every day. Some plants just need sunlight sometimes. They don't need watering but once a week. You have to learn your woman, you have to learn your man. And that's women empowerment works together with men as well because we empower each other and we
Mm.
are good for each other. That's why he made woman and man.
Now now we almost about to end, but with you hitting on that right there, you're probably gonna have to come back on and get deeper into that because that's the biggest thing that I hear online, the arguments, the back and forth. Like, so when the next time we do this, you can even go look and start putting something together just to just really break that down because when we hear women empowerment today, it's so predicated on just we're it. We are the prize, but not in a sense of, like you said, tearing our men down, where our
Exactly.
men feel like they can't coexist with us in
Exactly.
this women empowerment movement. So I think you got to come back to really dig deep into that because that being when you dealing with health and beauty, a lot of men want a bad looking woman on their arms. She look good. She made up right, pretty face, pretty shape, everything. But personality wise,
That's right.
spiritually, that first Peter woman 3 and 3 verse 3 and verse through 3 and 4. That woman like just not so focused on outer beauty, but inner. And women empowerment it is very important, but because women have been treated like less than for a long time. But when we talk about women, when you're talking, we're gonna end on this.
Okay.
When you're talking about women empowerment, and you gotta come back and make that even a greater topic to
Okay.
help people understand. Like when you're talking about women empowerment, Are you talking about a woman in her power over a man, or how do you be that strong woman but be able to coexist with your man and at the same time, like you said, build him up even when you're like you're dogging me out in the process of me trying to build you up.
Then you
So
measure. Yeah.
right, because how do you what are you saying women empowerment is? And we can end right there. Women empowerment to you.
Oh, excuse me, guys.
Bless
Well, what women empowerment is to me is like women empowerment is there are so many people out here in this world because of women. Without us,
you.
children, it wouldn't be anything. So we empower a lot of things. We empower our kids. We empower our relationships. We, we don't run our house. How do they say it? You don't control the house, but you run the house. The man controls the house, but the woman is running the house because she's
Mm.
children respect what the man is telling her to do, telling them to do. So, when it comes to your children, the men is mostly working a lot. Women spends a lot of time with the kids. So we have a lot of ways um, to have um, to control or to have an impression on what's going around you. You have a lot of power in what's happening around you, and God just builds it that way, that He gives us so much uh, wisdom that, we are to be able to share and try to implement these things in our daily lives through people that we love. And it will just be able to make a lot of us a lot more happy, a lot of people happy. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's in the moment, it'll bring you joy at the end.
Uh, now, now you probably just blew some. Well, you blew my mind. You probably done blew a lot of people's mind with the. So you definitely have to come back because you said control and run. So we gotta do this again. Our time
Yeah.
is running out, but
Oh,
we got to do that because that women empowerment thing that you hit on at the end of this is really important to especially the black culture as men and women come trying to get men and women to come together and unite. Like
yeah.
you said, the woman runs the household, the man controls. Like being able to actually break that down because when women hear submission, when we hear submission, when we hear
Mm.
control, that how does that not drive you crazy to say to be able to say a man controls, the woman runs? How do you allow yourself to be able to say that and not be like ain't nobody controlling me because that's how we think. That's the first thing that comes to your mind.
Yeah.
So we got to break that down. We got to dig into that because
Okay.
uh that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like understanding that. I've never heard it put that way when you say the man controls, but I'm running things. But that means we're still on a playing field where it's level and it's balanced and I'm not getting mad because he's controlling things if he's
Right.
controlling in the proper way and God is leading him.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end right there, and I think this was a great episode. I think it was a lot of things we hit on. So we got to come back and do this again with the mental health and with the women empowerment because I think a lot of people do have a misconception of those two things, like especially mental health. It does not mean you're crazy if you just have a mental a point where you're just not feeling as strong mentally. You're not fit like you said. Everybody's been through something. You're not the only one, and I think that's the biggest thing. So guys, you can find her on she's post videos on TikTok. You can find her TikTok page on Coach Try underscore FTL. and she will have some health and beauty tips going on over there on TikTok. And I really believe that we need more information coming from Coach Try. So she's gonna be back. I promise you, she's gonna be back on this platform, and we're gonna get more information from her. We're gonna continue to let you know what health and beauty really is, especially from a spiritual standpoint. So, guys, let's reprogram our thinking. Let's get back to love. Let's recover the life that the devil tries to take from us each and every day. And most importantly, God may not be there when you want him, but he'll definitely be there in the nick of time. So, in the meantime, in between time, allow the scriptures to speak. I hope that you listen, but do not just be a hearer of the word, also be a doer. I love you guys. Peace. Until next time, we out.
Coach Try
Yeah.
underscore
Or
FTN.
I got TikTok. Check her
TikTok.
out. She's
Check
gonna
us
be on
out.
YouTube eventually,
Building
and you
it
can
up.
check out her website at feeling the look inc.org. That's her website for her nonprofit. Go check it out.
Yep.
Hope you guys have a
Grow with
beautiful
us
rest
as
of
we
your day.
grow on TikTok. Thank
All
you.
right.
Have a good one.
Love you guys. Peace.